Idaho. Its nickname is the Gem State. From the rugged volcanic Rocky Mountains that created rich rolling farmlands, tens of thousands of acres of forest, and abundant breathtaking white water, Idaho is a jewel, both natural and man-made. Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Idaho's rivers led Lewis and Clark to survey much of the state in their search for the Northwest Passage to the Pacific. They wrote about its native peoples and natural resources, but Idaho remained largely unsettled until midway through the 19th century. Now, with a population over the million mark, it's a state rich with history and historic homes. We begin our tour of the nation's 43rd state on Hayden Lake in the northern part of Idaho. There, on a knoll overlooking a lake, is a bed and breakfast fit for a king. Looking at it now, it hardly seems possible that Clark House, named after its builder, a railroad and mining millionaire, had to be rescued from being burned as a firefighter's exercise. But that's how far it had fallen. F. Lewis Clark and his wife built it in 1907. They called it Honeysuckle Lodge. The summer palace of Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, where the Clarks had been guests, was the inspiration for the home. At one time, it was the largest house in Idaho. In 1914, Lewis Clark mysteriously disappeared. His wife continued to live in the house until 1922, when the bank foreclosed and reclaimed the estate. For all but a few years, it sat abandoned and abused on a hill overlooking the lake. Until 1989, when Monty Danner arrived and saw what it had been and what it could be.
There were no doors on the front doors. They had rotted away, and I walked into the entrance hall, and it really was overwhelming to see the devastation in what should have been and was one of the most beautiful homes that I had ever been into.
Monty decided that the house could be salvaged and restored to its former glory. He bought it, collected his tools, a bed and pilot stove, and set himself up in the kitchen. On that day in early November, he toured the house with his video camera.
The more I looked, the more I realized, my God, it isn't that bad. The structure is sound, concrete, slate roof, not a lot of wood rot, some roof leaks, but stuff that really was cosmetic. And even though the windows were gone and the doors were gone and the floors were rotted and people had built fires on the floors and taken the chainsaws to the newel posts and cut the banisters out, the library was destroyed. You could see that this could really happen.
Monty brought a vision to the project and a lot of determination. His partner, Rod Palmer, wondered if they had taken on a project too big.
It was a money pit. I admire Monty for his vision and his philosophy. And his philosophy was, let's get something accomplished every day, no matter how big or how small a project it is. Don't look at the big picture, look at the small picture.
The problem seemed to be where to begin. Almost nothing still worked. The yard was thick with broken glass from the hundreds of broken window panes. The roof had 36 separate leaks.
The first thing, of course, was to get the house secure, because no doors and windows and no locks. And that took several months to do that through the winter. Then, of course, we started with systems, electrical, plumbing, and heating. The roof is slate, and it was really important to me. It's imported from England, and it's a series of colors and sizes. Under the library in a crawl space, there were hundreds of sheets of slate that were stacked very carefully back in the corner of the library, and I think it was too scary for people to crawl back in there, but in my search, I found all of the slate, so we were actually able to use the original slate. That was important to me.
Over the last 10 years, fireplaces were retiled with marble, the 22 chandeliers replaced and hung, all the floors, original hardwood, were sanded and refinished, even the banisters and newel posts restored. Piece by piece, they put the house back together.
Every window has a different view, and every part of it is beautiful. And so as I go from room to room, it's the whole masterpiece for me. The joy that I get and the sense of accomplishment and the feeling of pride and the satisfaction inside of me continues to grow as I get further and further into the project, and each room has special meaning.
Even the walls throughout Clark House convey a special message. Artist Jack McCullough donated his time and work to recreate the history and elegance of the Clark House in murals that adorn every public room of the mansion.
The murals are the pictorial history of the Clark House, starting in 1907 and up to 1993. Everything represents a portion of what was here: the Writing Academy, the mahogany yachts and sailboats, the private zoo, the beautiful gardens and trees and flowers from all over the world.
Today, people are once again savoring the atmosphere of Clark House. This summer palace turned elegant bed and breakfast, thanks to Monty Danner and Rod Palmer.
as time goes on, people are more and more appreciative of the fact that it's here, and because of the beauty of this particular home and the exposure within the community, we now realize that this is the jewel box of our entire community.